Hey everyone, it's Ashmode here. Welcome to my guide on Dark Knight tips and tricks. These are some of the things that I picked up as I gained more experience with playing Dark Knight and just tanking in general, and I wanted to share them with you so that hopefully they will benefit you as well. We're going to be talking about skill usage, specifically about Blood Weapon and Living Shadow. These are some of the skills that have more depth than what the tooltips themselves say they do, and I thought, hey, I think other Dark Knights out there would like to know more about these not so obvious abilities as well. Anyway, without further ado, let's plunge right into it. So the first thing we'll cover today is Blood Weapon, and why it's a little bit tricky to use. To give a little bit of an overview of what Blood Weapon does, it is an ability that lasts for 10 seconds that generates MP and 10 blood per weapon skill or spell usage, blood being the resource you get from being a Dark Knight. Blood is used for Living Shadow, Blood Spiller, and Quietus, all of which are very important to your damage output. Pretty straightforward, right? Generally, your recast timer is at about 2.40 seconds-ish, so you are seemingly able to comfortably fit 5 global cooldown skills or GCDs into this 10-second window. Let's do some quick maths. My personal recast timer is scoped to 2.41 seconds. That means if I want to fit 5 GCDs into this Blood Weapon window, it should be pretty easy, as I have about a third of a second to hit the last GCD skill to fulfill the 5 GCDs into this 10-second window. Right? Wrong. See, the thing is, even though the tooltips say that Blood Weapon lasts 10 seconds, it actually lasts about 9.76 seconds for reasons beyond me. Which means that you really only have about 1/10 of a second to hit that last GCD. I'll provide a link to the video that proves the discrepancy in the description below. If you accidentally do not hit your last GCD fast enough, or if you're trying to double weave off global cooldown skills into your recast timer window, and you have bad ping, you will likely miss your 5th GCD. So how do we mitigate this? Basically at about 2.38 seconds recast timer is when you can feel pretty comfortable with hitting 5 GCDs, even with bad ping. You can meld your gear with skill speed materia to get to the point of 2.38 seconds recast timer. That's a mouthful. But of course, that's going to sacrifice a little bit of your other important attributes like critical hit or direct hit rate. One thing you'll want to make sure to do is cast Blood Weapon with the exact correct timing so that you don't waste even a millisecond of the Blood Weapon window for the maximum possibility of hitting the 5th GCD. Generally, you'll want to cast Blood Weapon, and Delirium for that matter, at about 2/3 of the duration of a recast window. So when the quote-unquote clock on a skill when you use a weapon skill hits about the 7 o'clock position. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You will see that when the GCD recast timer hits around 2/3 of its duration, I will then use Blood Weapon. Let's play that one more time. Another trick that I use to maximize Blood Weapon usage is double weaving Blood Weapon after using an off global cooldown skill, or an OGCD. Weaving means that you are fitting an OGCD within your GCD recast timer window. People with reasonable ping are able to double weave OGCDs. Using this trick basically ensures that my Blood Weapon is cast at around the 2/3 mark so that I don't have to stare at a skill like this to see when I can cast Blood Weapon. So why is this important? It is because every time you miss a blood proc from Blood Weapon, it makes it so you sometimes can't cast the skills that require blood on time, causing your rotation to be less consistent. And consistency is the key to improving as a player. Unless you consistently make mistakes. Anyway, that's enough about Blood Weapon for now. Let's talk about Living Shadow. Thankfully, this tip is much simpler than the Blood Weapon discussion that we just had. Living Shadow is a skill that summons a shadowy Dark Knight that fights by your side, that casts 7 different skills against its enemies. You'll see here that the attack potency of your Living Shadow is 300 potency. But this can be a little misleading. The Living Shadow actually can do more damage than that. Firstly, it actually does 300 potency per skill to its target, so that's over 2,000 potency. It's a huge percentage of your damage output. And this is something that the tooltip definitely doesn't tell you, it will snapshot all of the attack buffs that you currently have on you and applies it to the living shadow itself, meaning that any buffs from tinctures, raid-wide buffs, or even your food buff will apply to your living shadow. Why wasn't this in the tooltip? Again, reasons beyond me. Oh, one more thing is that your dark side buff also applies to your living shadow. Anyway, that's about it for Blood Weapon and Living Shadow. There are a couple more not so obvious things surrounding Blood Weapon usage, but I can cover that in another video, as I think what I've talked about already is more applicable to most situations while we're in the game. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you all have a fantastic day and enjoy Endwalking. See you later.